This story, I'm in love with this story. I mean, actually, I have a mixed relationship with it. Okay, so New York Supreme Court reinstates all employees fired for being unvaccinated and orders back pay. State Supreme Court found that being vaccinated does not stop the spread of COVID-19. It's really just, it's amazing, really, that to watch the narrative shift in real time, right? Because there was a time not that long ago where saying this would get you censored and banned off social media. I know people that have been censored and banned off social media. Obviously I make my entire living from social media. And so I remember like wanting to be tweeting during the thick of, the pandemic when everyone was getting vaccinated, how obvious it was that it wasn't stopping the spread because I was literally seeing everyone I knew that was vaccinated just straight up getting it again and giving it to someone else. It seemed like at one point the vaccinated got it at like a higher rate. I don't know the science behind that. That's just my speculation, but bitch, it was ever so clearly not stopping the spread. And if you had two fucking eyes during the vaccine hype, you knew that, you saw that, you recognized that. But I saw a really great tweet the other day. It was like, it was from, I think the Twitter account is called Sasculin or something. It's this gay conservative guy that I've followed since the beginning of my account on Twitter. And he's not famous or anything, but we've just been like low key, like Twitter acquaintances. But anyways, he tweeted that something like being conservative is just being right about shit until the fucking corporate press allows you to have a conversation about it. And then no one cares anymore. So it's like, it's just being right early, right? So obviously this is good news. I think in a just world, the New York Supreme Court obviously should reinstate employees, should give people their money back. But it's bittersweet in the sense of like how many people, if they had the information from the beginning during the vaccine hype, when everyone was rushing to their favorite Rite Aid and Walgreens to get vaccinated, how many of them would not have if they knew or had even a hint that it wasn't going to stop the spread, that it wasn't going to not spread to people in their household, people they're around. Because, I said it before, there's literally a fly on my microphone. Hi. I said it before that she won't leave me alone, girl. It's the hairspray. And now my ADHD is like, girl, get away from me. She won't stop. Anyways, I said before that the only reason why I would have maybe gotten vaccinated or, maybe had considered it would have been to keep from infecting other people. Wasn't the case. So it's interesting because this is going to set precedent for the rest of the country, which is exciting. I don't anticipate states like California, but then again, New York's a blue state, so I'm talking on my ass. I was about to say California would never, but New York just did. So maybe. And it's interesting this happened before other states that I feel like would be more likely to do it, like Texas or I know in Florida, they weren't even allowing the vaccine to be mandated by workplaces, but this fly is like literally just a cast member of the show at this point. Like she's just doing the most. Anyways, this is good news and I'm happy about it. It's funny. The Atlantic says, let's declare a pandemic amnesty. We need to forgive one another for what we did and said when we were in the dark about COVID. So basically this article is saying that, a lot of things were got wrong during COVID and we just need to kind of forgive and forget about all the freedoms that were taken from people, all the funerals that people weren't allowed to attend because of social distancing, for the forced vaccinations. People are going to get hung up on the word forced. Yes, if you can't go to work, if you can't go to school, if you can't go to a restaurant without a vaccine, that's a forced vaccination. And I'm not going to play this game. Just because the government let businesses and corporations do the oppression for them doesn't mean it wasn't forced. It's not a choice. If you have to choose between living and participating in society and getting a vaccine, that's not a choice. But anyways, it's a choice for a very few lucky people, right? Like I had that choice because I'm a YouTuber. I had that choice because I had the financial ability to move states where these things weren't a thing, where I didn't have to go get a vaccine to enter a restaurant. But if you didn't have the money to escape these blue states that did it, sorry, you had to get the vaccine basically, or you had to, do what you had to do, but it wouldn't have been much of a life, right? No school, no work, no public places. Okay. So The regime wants us to forgive them for taking away freedoms, for segregating society based on a lie, the lie of transmission via the vaccine, stopping it, that is. And this is what abusers do, right? They will abuse you. And then the moment you get the upper hand, the moment you're ready to leave, right? The moment you're ready to say, you know what, I've had enough. The moment they move on, it's all apologies and it's come back to me. And I would know, not coming back to you, weren't with you in the first fucking place, but I will never forget what the fuck went down in 2020. I am fucking traumatized, and I am embedding what happened in 2020 into my personal political ideology, which is I will always, forever, I don't care what political party or how things change, I will always vote in the direction of less government. I don't give a fuck how Republicans feel about trans people. I don't give a fuck how Republicans feel about this one or that one. I don't give a fuck if every Republican in the world fucking hated me for being trans. The difference is when I was living in Los Angeles, which was blue, I had to go to Orange County, which was red, to even sit in a restaurant, to go to the beach. Yes, they were blocking off the beach in California. And it was just very revealing how important being in a red state, a red county, a red town is versus the opposite. So yes, there are absolutely differences and consequences when it comes to voting. Sorry, I will never vote blue. I don't care about social issues. I mean, I do, but I don't care. I don't place them at a higher priority or higher level importance than like leaving my house, going to the beach, going to a restaurant, participating in society. Those things come first. Sorry. Shout out to all the social issues that I care about, but they're always going to come first to having like basic freedom and dignity. That kind of comes first. So no, I'm not going to forgive what happened in 2020. I will always remember it. I'll also always remember what it felt like, because they're not asking for just for forgiveness for, you know, the government or the entities that created these rules and enacted all this. They're also asking for forgiveness for people that freaked out and treated people like shit and judged people based on their vaccination status and judged people based on whether they were willing to go outside or not and judged people based on if they saw their family or went to a funeral. Sorry. That's what they're asking for forgiveness for. And that's not going to fucking happen. I've said this story, I think, on the show before, but I'll always remember going into the elevator of my building in Hollywood, and there is this fucking disgusting man in the elevator as I'm trying to walk in who has a mask on and a face shield, who pushed me out of the elevator and freaked out because I dared to get in an elevator or forget that there was some rule in my building that there's only one person. I'll never forget that kind of behavior. And I don't think that it's two-sided here. I've seen Republicans and shit acting badly in videos where they're, you know, freaking out in grocery stores and like treating people badly because they're wearing masks. That's disgusting as well. But when it comes to actually using the government or using corporations to actually take away freedoms or limit people or restrict people, that was something happening primarily on the left. And you can see that based on the fact that if you moved to a red state, you didn't have these restrictions placed on you. The idea of a lockdown even being a thing that the government is able to do, short of like, I don't know, like aliens invading. And then even then, how dare you? It's like, why was that even a thing? How did that even enter the lexicon? How did that even become an accepted thing? So no forgiveness. I only need a fucking promise that you're never going to do that again, which I'm sure you're not willing to give, but it is what it is. The tide has turned on that issue. You know, not fully, we're not at a full U-turn, but it's turning, right? The fact that the New York Supreme Court is giving people their jobs back and money back if they're forced to get vaccinated to work, that's a big deal. So, sue me, but I was right on this issue, and it will come up to light further. Hey, if you guys enjoyed that short clip from the podcast, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel as well as my main channel and watch the full episode, which will be somewhere on the screen.